Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I was checking out this video with ABL, and for those of you who don't know, he's a so-called black conservative or whatever. But I think he's pretty much even killed when it comes to certain subjects. And but he spoke on this train matter with the young lady lost her life, the one from Ukraine that got stabbed in Charlotte. I think it was a really great assessment by him. So I'm going to play the video and give my 1-2 about it.
We got to talk about the Charlotte, North Carolina train attack in which a young Ukrainian woman was stabbed several times in the neck in an unprovoked attack, which unfortunately led to her losing her life. May she rest in peace and prayers out to the family. The guy who did this, a career criminal, had been arrested 14 times before, has been charged with a federal crime because he did it on the train. Now, if it's up to me, upon his conviction, I would take him out back and do it so there's no further burden upon the
I agree with him 100%. Like, and I'm just going to speak for the so-called black community. Certain people can't be redeemed, unfortunately. Some people are going to make it, and some people are going to be gone. And if anybody, especially that's in the scriptures, knows that everybody's not going to make it, 2/3 is going to be cut off, and 1/3 is going to be remaining in the land. So, unfortunately for this brother on the train that's having had that psychotic moment where he stabbed the young lady to death and dealing with other mental issues and law enforcement issues, like, I don't think the dude can be redeemed. I don't wish death on anybody, but in certain situations, like I said, everybody's not going to make it.
Taxpayers of this country. Now, I got to talk about the bystanders. I don't like the narrative of the bystanders somehow hating white people or something of that nature. I don't like the bystanders being villainized because they didn't jump into action immediately right when the whole thing happened. Because the average person in this country, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, whatever, they're going to do the exact same thing that those people did, which is.
Thank you. That was a great point. Like, I've seen some outlets where they're trying to racialize this whole thing, and it's been I want to say been some audio of him on the train, of the guy that actually stabbed the young lady, saying, "I got that white girl." But then I saw some reputable outlets talking about they don't even have audio on the train. So with all this AI stuff going on right now, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Just people trying to stoke some type of racial fear or whatever, or racial anxiety. That's what it seems like to me, in my opinion. But to his point, the average person is not going to do anything in that situation. Like, they're not trained, haven't seen blood, broken limbs, somebody stabbed, shot. Know how to deal with somebody who's having a psychological, like going through some type of psychosis or something like that. They don't know how to deal with that. And anybody out there who's rode the train or been on a subway, bus, public transportation they know that it's crazy people on there, and you really want to mind your business because you never know what'll happen on there.
Not much of anything. They're going to try to cower and hide so they don't become victim to this man. Also, we're looking at the whole situation from a different point of view. We're seeing it from the camera's point of view, which is facing this way. Okay, people are on the train facing that way, so all they see is this guy get up and do something. They didn't realize what happened until they saw him walking, and then there was blood coming from him, and then they saw the knife. Then they put two and two together. From the time where the attack initiated and she fell on the ground, 90 seconds. Someone did come to her aid, but I guess that's not really good for the narrative of black people who hate white people.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing. Like, somebody came to her aid, just like it showed on video, but they didn't want to talk about that. Like I said, some outlets and some people are trying to stoke some racial anxiety against so-called black people, and you know what that's about, and you know where that comes from, but it's not necessarily true. Like, the dude, I think honestly, I think he just saw her as a soft target. Like it could have been a black person, it could have been a Chinese person, it could have been uh, anybody else. Honestly, I think he just saw a soft target and he just went for it, and he just had a mental breakdown, and he didn't know where whatever situation it was going on in his head. He was disconnected from reality.
About a race thing, we've seen this over and over again. People are recorded in various states of distress, and people always ask, why don't you go help rather than recording? Because most people are not going to do anything. That's the reality. We live in a country of a bunch of depression, anxiety, etc. People don't want to leave their house. They order everything straight to their house. Do you think this population of people are going to have the courage to not only potentially get stabbed up by somebody that's clearly crazy on the train, but to go help someone in that situation?
To answer your question, ABL, no, nobody. I'll guarantee you, 95% of the people in this country will not do anything. I mean, you never know. Like I said, he's bringing up some great points. People aren't trained to see certain things. They haven't dealt with certain things, and they pretty much want to mind their business and get to where they're going. You know, but that was a great video by ABL, and like I said, at least he's pretty consistent when it comes to certain situations. From what I've seen from quote unquote black conservatives, because I've seen some of them just straight up tap dancing, honestly, and it's kind of sad. Like, cause some of them you can kind of tell like they just doing it for money, and it's unfortunate. But that's my 1-2 on it. Leave your commentary. Let me know what you think.